The Roswell revelation uncovering the hidden truth of extraterrestrial encounters. The New Mexico sun beat down on Joanna's back as she trekked through the barren landscape of the Roswell desert. A seasoned journalist, she had made a name for herself as an investigative reporter for the New York Times. With a passion for the unexplained, she decided to take on a story that had captured her curiosity for years: the Roswell UFO incident. Armed with her research and contacts, she had managed to secure an interview with a retired Air Force officer, Colonel Matthews. The colonel had been stationed in Roswell during the infamous 1947 incident, and although he had been tight-lipped for decades, Joanna was hoping that his advanced age might make him more willing to reveal the truth. Joanna arrived at the small, dusty house where Colonel Matthews resided. The dwelling stood alone in the desert, with only a few sparse shrubs and a single tree offering a break from the monotony of the sun-baked landscape. Joanna knocked on the door, and it creaked open to reveal a stooped, elderly man with a pair of steely blue eyes that retained a spark of defiance. "Colonel Matthews?" Joanna inquired, her voice carrying the practiced confidence of a seasoned journalist. "My name is Joanna, and I was hoping to speak with you about your time in Roswell." The colonel's gaze scrutinized Joanna, as if trying to measure her intentions. After a moment of silence, he reluctantly invited her in. The house was sparsely furnished, and the walls adorned with faded military memorabilia. They sat at a small wooden table in the living room, and Joanna began her interview. As they spoke, Joanna cautiously navigated the conversation toward the Roswell incident. She could see the colonel's demeanor change, a guarded expression crossing his face. However, as they continued talking, he seemed to loosen up, as though he was finally ready to unburden himself of the long-held secrets. "I have something I want to show you," Colonel Matthews murmured, rising from his chair. He disappeared into a small, cluttered room at the back of the house and emerged with a dusty, old file box. Carefully placing it on the table, he opened the lid to reveal a collection of weathered documents and photographs. "These are the original files from the Roswell incident," he stated, his voice low and cautious. "I've kept them hidden for decades, but I believe it's time for the truth to be known." Joanna's eyes widened in disbelief, her heart racing with excitement as she reached for the first document. This was the break she had been searching for, the key to unlocking the mystery of Roswell. As she began to sift through the files, she could hardly believe the revelations that unfolded before her eyes. Joanna's hands trembled as she delicately examined the documents, each one containing shocking revelations about the Roswell incident. The files contained detailed reports of the recovered wreckage, its origins, and its purpose. There were also photographs of the crash site, some featuring strange symbols and markings that seemed to defy conventional understanding. The most intriguing part of the files, however, were the reports about the recovered bodies. These documents described the beings as humanoid but with significant differences in their anatomy, including elongated limbs and heads. The files also revealed that the military had attempted to perform autopsies on these creatures, but the results had been kept top secret. As Joanna continued to read, she realized that the story she was uncovering was far more complex and sinister than she had initially thought. It wasn't just a matter of a crashed alien craft. It was clear that the U.S. government had engaged in a calculated and extensive cover-up to keep the truth about Roswell hidden. "Colonel," Joanna began, her voice barely more than a whisper, "these files, they're incredible. The world needs to know about this. Why didn't you come forward sooner?" The colonel sighed, his eyes downcast. "I was young and ambitious back then. I believed in the cause, in protecting our national security. Over time, I began to question the morality of keeping this secret, but the fear of the consequences always held me back." "But now?" Joanna pressed, her determination palpable. "Now, I'm an old man," the colonel replied, a hint of sadness in his voice. "I don't have much time left, and I don't want to leave this world with the burden of this secret on my conscience. I want the truth to be known, and I trust you to tell it." Joanna looked back at the files, her mind racing as she considered the implications of what she was about to do. This story could change the world's perception of history and our place in the universe, but it would also put her in the crosshairs of powerful forces determined to keep the truth buried. With the Colonel's blessing, Joanna left his home with the files in her possession, determined to bring the Roswell conspiracy to light. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but she was resolute in her mission. The truth had to be told, no matter the cost. As Joanna began to piece together the Roswell story, she felt the weight of the responsibility on her shoulders. Knowing the risks, she decided to work in secret, spending long hours at her apartment, carefully analyzing the files and drafting her exposé. She took measures to ensure her safety, using encrypted communication channels and staying under the radar. The investigation led her down a rabbit hole of hidden information, connecting the Roswell incident to other mysterious events and classified projects. It became clear that the government had been involved in a decades-long campaign to suppress the truth about extraterrestrial life and their advanced technology. As the days turned into weeks, Joanna became increasingly paranoid, sensing that she was being watched. Late one night, she received an anonymous email warning her to stop her investigation. The message was clear. She was treading on dangerous ground, and powerful forces were conspiring against her. Determined to reveal the truth, Joanna refused to be intimidated. She arranged a meeting with a trusted contact at a reputable news organization, planning to hand over the files and her completed exposé. She knew that once the story was out, there would be no going back, and the backlash would be immense. But she believed in the importance of the truth and the need for the public to know what had been hidden from them for so long. The day of the meeting arrived, and Joanna left her apartment with a heavy heart, carrying the Roswell files in a secure briefcase. As she made her way to the rendezvous point, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being followed. Her heart raced, and she quickened her pace, trying to remain calm and inconspicuous. Joanna finally arrived at the discreet cafe where she was supposed to meet her contact. Glancing around nervously, she took a seat at a table in the corner, her briefcase clutched tightly in her hands. Moments later, her contact arrived, and they exchanged tense pleasantries. Just as Joanna began to reveal the information she had uncovered, a sudden commotion erupted outside the cafe. Men in dark suits and sunglasses stormed in, swiftly scanning the room. Joanna's heart sank as she realized they were looking for her. Her contact, sensing the imminent danger, urged her to leave the briefcase and escape through the back door. With adrenaline pumping through her veins, Joanna raced through the narrow alleys, doing her best to evade her pursuers. She knew the stakes were high and that her life was on the line. As she finally found a hiding place, she took a moment to catch her breath, hoping she had managed to elude them. Unbeknownst to Joanna, her contact had managed to secure the files and safely deliver them to the news organization. Within hours, the story broke, sending shockwaves around the world as people learned the truth about the Roswell incident and the government's cover-up. The revelation forced governments to come clean about their knowledge of extraterrestrial life and the extent of their cover-ups. As for Joanna, she went into hiding, knowing she could never return to her previous life. But she found solace in the knowledge that she had played a crucial role in revealing the truth, and that her sacrifices had changed the course of history. The world would never be the same, and Joanna's courage and determination had made a lasting impact. Thank you for watching this episode of Wonders of the Unknown. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling tales of mystery and science fiction.